Hey guys, so today's Friday update for Merlin models is going to center around the Slave 1. As you can see, we have just started doing the actual test fitting and printing stage, which is really exciting for us. This is not the finished part, just so you guys know. There's a lot of work that still needs to be done on this, but we feel like we're pretty close to getting the top section done. We just have some adjustments for fitment, and we want to make sure that this is as easy as possible to assemble. So there's going to be some additional keying parts to make it easier. But you can see that this is massive to begin with, as I know you all knew before. But we've got the pieces starting to come together. Now, obviously, you can see that there's some gaps here and some gaps here. This is where we're going to be increasing the fitment. This is also about figuring out the right orientation for printing. But we were even just talking to ourselves about this while we were building it this afternoon, saying there would be no way to cast some of these parts. You would end up with 500 parts for your kit. It would be ridiculous to try to assemble. So we're actually pretty pleased that stuff like this can be printed here and turn out at this high of a quality. But you can see that there's lots and lots of depth going on just with this part. And the armature itself is going to end up being really strong. We're really excited about that. So this is kind of where we're at. We're going to get this nailed down next week and then move on just to go to the next level below, which I believe is going to be getting the official armature skeleton finished up and get that mounted to this so that we know what that looks like. And then we'll move on to the next thing, whether that's the wings or the cockpit or whatever, to get it attached. And you'll just kind of see this go together as a prototype and then finalize it as a production piece before we move to just printing our lives away to get you guys these things boxed up and ready to ship. So that's where we're at with this. The ball turret is almost ready. I know it was almost ready last week. It's even closer this week. We have 2 parts to modify, and then we'll be ready to start production. So that should start production by the end of next week. So that's exciting. That's what I'm working on while Justin's doing most of his work on this. We will be doing more work on the tantives next week. We're going to set aside one day specifically just to focus on that. So that's getting into the rotation. AT-ATs are still waiting to be able to get this thing finished engineering because we want to re-engineer the AT-AT to make the fitment better and do some small adjustments to the legs and some of the attachment points. So that one's just waiting for this particular engineering set to be done. So I know you guys have been very patient for that, but it will be available soon. Also next week in the background, we are still getting the Concept X-Wing ready for print on demand. That will be available to order starting next week. So I am already printing with our extra printer the parts just to make sure that they all work. And then we've got fully finished print profiles for every single piece. So that will be done very soon. And don't forget that the U-Wing models are available, and those are ready for print on demand so that you can buy those kits whenever you wish. We've got 2 extra right now that are already ready to go. So if you have an inkling to get into that kit, those will ship next week. And if you are looking for something else, we're just going to slowly start adding print on demand to all of the major kits that we have. So look for some more news on that. But aside from that, happy Friday. Thank you guys very much, and we'll see you next week.